Good morning, everyone. Today I wanted to talk about a new pen I have, or a somewhat new pen. I've had it for a couple of months now, and I wanted to share my thoughts on it, how I'm liking it, what I'm using it for. So this is the Platinum Curidas. It is a retractable pen by Platinum, and I've really been enjoying it, actually. The reason I bought this pen was because I needed something. I've recently taken up self-teaching Spanish to myself, and I needed a pen that was like quick use. So all of my fountain pens that I have in my collection have either snap-on caps or screw-on caps, and it was just taking too long for me to like unscrew the cap and then write a quick note and then set the pen back down after capping it, and then 10 seconds later there was another note I want to make or write down a vocab word, and it just took too long and I was starting to get annoyed. So I have tried the Pilot Vanishing Point in the past, multiple times actually, and I found that was too heavy for me. And then I tried the Pilot Decimo, which I actually still have. I did plan on selling it, but I'm actually going to try to get it. I'm going to do a little project with it. So I am not planning on selling it at the moment, but I do have it inked up off to the side. I will do a writing sample with that to compare the Platinum Fine to the Pilot Fine. But I typically don't use the Decimo for writing or anything, just because my fingers slip down the grip, because it's like that chrome shiny finish, and it's too slippery for me to use. So I wasn't using that. So that's what led me to consider the Platinum Curidas. I had seen this pen when it first came out, but I wasn't too interested in it. I did like the way it looked. I really like demonstrator pens, and I like that you can see all the metal and the plastic inside. The clip is not the prettiest. I do think the clip is kind of ugly, to be honest, but that's neither here nor there. So yeah, I wasn't too interested, but now that I have a need for a retractable pen, well, it would be more convenient for me to have a retractable pen, something that I can pick up, click, and then it's open and will write. I came to this. So I bought it a couple of months ago, and I have been using it in conjunction with my Spanish notebook, and I'll actually show you how I put the pen in there, which is not too complicated. It goes in a pen loop, but I wanted to show you that. And I have also been using it to journal. It's actually a very comfortable pen to use, even though it is heavier than pens that I would normally consider. I've really been enjoying the writing experience with this pen. So before we get to that, I just want to talk about how it's set up and what it looks like. So I got the all clear version, which is the Prism Crystal color, just the totally clear demonstrator. I did consider the smoke color, which is like a dark gray transparent body, and also the Abyss Blue, which is a dark blue. I really liked the way that pen looked, but I like to match colors to my pens, and I only own one blue ink that I don't use that often, so it wouldn't have gotten much use probably. So I just went with the safest option, and I'm really glad I got the Prism Crystal. I really like it. One thing I did want to talk about too is the knock up here. I've seen in a lot of reviews, people have commented on the length of this part of the pen, the clicker. And I actually really like how long it is. I know people have said it's too long, because this is a really big pen, but I actually like how long the knock is a lot. And I don't find it difficult to like click it. Like it's a pretty quick movement for me, or I can just, do my index finger to open it. So I haven't had any issues with that. I really like the way it looks with how long it is. So I really like that part of the design. It's got a big open mouth here, and then inside it has that little trap door that opens up. Then it's got this little piece here where the little hinge goes in. I was kind of worried about this. When I first got this pen, with the way I normally hold my pens, my finger did rest right there, which was uncomfortable, but I have since adjusted my grip and moved it back some, so now it doesn't get in the way at all. And there's nothing, you know, blocking my fingers from resting comfortably on the grip. So it's very, very comfortable to write with. I haven't had any issues once I adjusted my grip. And this is actually, using this pen and adjusting my grip for this pen has actually helped me with some of my other pens that I found maybe slightly uncomfortable to use. So this has actually helped with some other pens as well. But anyway, let's get on to the inside. So it just unscrews in the center like a pilot vanishing point. And there's the back part. And then here is this. I know this has been shown a million times on other videos, but I'll just be quick with this. It's quite a journey to get it re-inked. I really like it though. It's fun to take it apart. And you take this part, and then here is the converter I have. This is fully inked with Noodler's Heart of Darkness, which is a fairly wet, smooth black ink. And then there is the nib unit, which will not focus. And then to put it back on, slide it back in here. And that's how you take it apart and put it back together. I like re-inking this pen because it's fun. And then the Curidas lines up with the clip. I really like the way this pen looks. I'm very, very happy with it. So as far as like the comfort goes for me, like I said earlier, this pen is heavier than what I would normally use. It weighs 29 grams with a converter filled with ink. And previously I had thought that my limit for a comfortable weight for a pen would be like 22, 23 grams. After that, I would start to get hand fatigue and it wasn't comfortable to write anymore. But because this pen has a thicker grip and the weight's like mostly back here, it just rests here and I don't have to, I don't know how to explain it. It's not too heavy for me, even though it's 29 grams, which to some people may seem, you know, super lightweight. But for me, that's heavier than I would normally use. But I guess with the way the weight is distributed, it doesn't feel uncomfortable to write with. It's very comfortable to write with. And then when it is, the nib is extended, this knock goes pretty much all the way into the body of the pen. So it shrinks down to like a normal sized pen. But yeah, despite the weight, it's still pretty comfortable for me to use. So let's get into the writing samples. So I'm going to be comparing my Platinum Curidas. I got a fine nib on this. I didn't even mention the nib yet. It's a steel nib, fine. I did have to tune this nib when I got it. As with every Platinum pen I've ever had, or nibs that I've tried, they all write super dry. This pen was no exception. It wrote super dry. So what I did was I laid out a piece of paper and I lined up the nib so I wasn't like tilted to the side. I was even with the paper, and then I just like really lightly pressed on the nib to like spread the tines. And I went very slowly. I didn't want to, you know, go spread them too much at once. And I was able to get the pen writing much wetter, but it was still really smooth. I didn't have to smooth it at all. It, you know, has been smooth the whole time, but I did adjust the flow, so it is writing much wetter now. So take that into consideration, that the writing sample may be maybe a tiny bit broader than what the actual one you get out of the box is, because I did adjust the flow. So the other pen I'm going to be comparing it with is this Sailor 1911 Standard Anchor Gray. This is a newer pen for me. I think I showed this briefly on the channel, but I haven't like done a video about it. This is also a fine nib. I have really, really been enjoying this pen. I also had to adjust this nib to make it flow wetter. There's a lot of feedback with this pen, which I'm not the biggest fan of feedback, but it's Sailor, what can you do? And then this is my Pilot Decimo with also a fine nib. And again, I'm thinking about doing something with the finish of this pen. If I do that or have it done and it is successful, I will make a video about that. I'm pretty excited for it, but in case it doesn't work, I don't want to say what it is and then, you know, just never mention it again. So yeah, I'm going to be comparing these three pens: Platinum Fine Steel Nib, Sailor 14 karat Gold Fine Nib, and Pilot Gold Fine Nib. I don't know if this is 18 karat. I can never remember. I don't know. Anyway. And the paper I'm going to be using is Cosmo Airlight paper. That is my new paper since Tomoe is just not going to be around for much longer, apparently. So this is what I'm using now. Cosmo Airlight paper is a little more absorbent than Tomoe, so the writing you see here, if you use Tomoe or, you know, have hoarded some Tomoe, as I considered doing, this paper will show a little thicker of a line than like Cosmo, or than Tomoe or something. Oh, and I forgot to mention, I will mention this. In reviews I have read and watched, I've seen a lot of people mention ink splatter here in the end of the pen from like opening and closing this quickly. I was thinking about that when I got this pen, and so in the beginning I was just opening it and closing it really slowly because I didn't want ink to splatter here. Eventually I just figured I didn't care, but I haven't had any issues with ink splatter here, so I don't know if that was something that was happening in the beginning. I know there was other issues in the beginning with this pen, like the feed cracking, I think. I don't know if that was a byproduct, you know, the ink splatter. I have no idea, but I haven't had any issues with ink splatter in this pen, even opening and closing it quickly. So if you've heard that, I haven't had any issue with that. I just remembered that, sorry. Just wanted to say it before I forgot it again. So let's do the writing sample. I have all three of these pens inked up with Noodler's Heart of Darkness, so the ink is the same. And this is Cosmo Airlight paper. And this is the Platinum Curidas with a fine steel nib. With Noodler's Heart of Darkness. Then we're going to do my Sailor. Again, I adjusted the flow on the Platinum and the Sailor, so what you're seeing here might be a tiny, tiny bit wider than what you would get if you had just pulled these out of the box. What is this? This is 14 karat. And then this is the Pilot Decimo with the gold fine nib. I'm pretty sure it's 18 karat, so I'll just write 18 karat when I get to that. And all three of these nibs are fairly wet writing. The Pilot wrote, I can't remember if I had to tune this one or not. I may have, I don't know. I like the way that nib writes though. I can't remember if I tuned it. But anyway, here are the comparisons. They actually look pretty similar on this paper. In my experience, Pilot usually writes a little broader than Platinum and Sailor. Platinum, from comparisons I've done before, Platinum writes the thinnest of the three, followed by Sailor, followed by Pilot. But here, they actually look pretty similar. After I tuned them, of course. So yeah, there is the writing comparison. And then I did want to show briefly how I keep this pen set up on my desk. So this is, quality is going to get really bad, sorry. This is a B6 Traveler's Notebook I got from Chic Sparrow. I have moved all of my Spanish stuff from an A5 into the B6 because it's just more compact, and I don't know, I'm really getting into the B6 size. But anyway, whenever I keep this pen with this journal, I just keep this journal on my desk. I put it in like this, upside down, because the clip kind of gets in the way if I put it in like this. And I like it. It's just too much trouble to like force it over the edge here, because then it sticks up. So because I want to access this pen quickly anyway, I just slide it in upside down like that. Not quite that far. And then the string keeps the pen in place and it doesn't move. So that's how I keep the pen with my Spanish journal in the pen loop. And that has worked really well so far. It just really easily slides out. So it's quick, easy access to when I want to use it. Again, I use this for journaling as well now. I did originally just buy it for use with my Spanish notebook, but it's very comfortable to use and I really like the way it looks too. I just like looking at it. So I will often journal with this pen as well. So yeah, I think that's all I have for you today. You know, general opinions on this pen. It's really nice. It's comfortable to write with. If you know, even if you like the Vanishing Point or the Decimo, this is a nice option as well. It does look cheaper than the Vanishing Point, but I really like looking at the insides. It's a very complicated pen, especially the insides. There's lots of little knobs and turns and stuff. So it's fun to re-ink it as well. But yeah, I'm really glad I got it. This will, I can't imagine selling this pen anytime soon. I'm still really enjoying using it. So yep, that's where I'll end it. If you guys have any questions, just let me know. I hope that writing sample was helpful. I will see you guys soon. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.